Good morning. This is Dr. Michael Datcher, and welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy Show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. This show airs each weekday morning, hella early at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, then 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Guys, today we're talking about freedom. What do you think about freedom, and what type of freedom do you have? There are many types of freedom, and at its very core, there is a freedom for the self, which we'll get into in a second. So, thanks for being here. If you are new, you can go to productivethroughjoy.com to see about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. We have a really great series of workshops, seminars, and webinars that I think you'll find interesting. So holla at us and we'll holla back. Allow me to say a few words about myself for those of you who are new. This is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher, author of the New York Times bestseller Raising Fences, author of the acclaimed historical novel Americas, author of the Pulitzer Prize nominated animating Black and Brown Liberation, a theory of American literatures. I'm the board president of the great nonprofit here in Los Angeles called The World Stage. My educational background is UC Berkeley as an undergrad, my master's from UCLA, and my PhD in English Lit from the University of California at Riverside. Guys, I'm an expert at being productive, all right? I don't say that to brag or boast. I say it because people are oftentimes surprised to hear of that level of productivity when they get a sense of my broader story. I am the product of a young girl who was assaulted at age 16, gave birth to me at age 17 as a result of that assault, and subsequently gave me up for adoption to a single divorcee. So at the time, no biological father, no adopted father, no biological father. Difficult times for the young MD, yet as Cool Moby famously said, "How you like me now?" And if I can be this productive and be so through joy, I know many people can. So thanks for listening. That completely inspires this show because I know it's not where you're from, it's where you're about to go. So thanks for joining us here. Let's start. So today we're talking about freedom. I host a radio show on here in LA called Beautiful Struggle, co-hosted and co-produced. And we did a show last night on voter suppression. It has me thinking a lot about freedom. But we're going to do this a three-part series. We started yesterday on in the present moment. But that show really moved me so that we switched gears somewhat, and we are now focusing tonight's show on freedom. So, because we are about to, as we all know, enter into certainly the most consequential election of my lifetime, which is ironic that it is more consequential than the election that elected the first black president. But that's how bad things are gotten under the current occupant of the White House. So, because people actually are dying as a result of his choices. That's and many black and brown people and older people. So, yeah, and so freedom. So point one is, it's good. We encourage people to think about, for you, what does freedom mean, right? If you're an African American person, you've thought a lot about freedom because many of us, our ancestors were captured, were prisoners of war, and brought to this country to work for free to build American wealth, and then to be systematically denied that wealth. So freedom is a thing that we think about probably more than any other subpopulation in the country because it's been denied us in sundry ways. And so for you, you want to think about, well, what does that mean for me, right? So for me, just as an example, freedom means being able to own my own business. It means being able to pursue God in the way that I want to pursue the Spirit. It means being able to have the wherewithal to, take care of my family in a way that I think is important in terms of education, where I want to live, etc. So it's important to think about what you think about freedom and what that means to you. And point two is, well, you want to think about what are you doing to manifest that freedom, to make that freedom be a thing that appears in your day-to-day life, right? Which goes right into point three. As you begin to think about that, then it's about doing it, which is point three. You want to take action, As a professor, as a scholar, I really believe in the power of ideas, and I also think it's fine that a scholar can be a scholar just for ideas' sake, because eventually those ideas can be picked up by people of action in the real world. But for some of us, especially African American scholars and professors, we don't have the luxury typically of just being people of ideas. Because the people around us, our family, friends, and relations, and broader community are subject to activities by the state and fellow citizens that are deleterious. So we have to be about thought in action, ideas in practice. So, what action are you taking to make those particular ideas manifest? And that's the thing that we all want to ask ourselves. So, boom, goes to dynamite. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. No, this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.